Many of the first Filipinos that arrived in the United States came here in 1587, many years ago. A part of the Manila Mexico galleon trade. So that's when California was still Mexico. More Filipinos came second wave after the Second World War. Arrived in the United States when many of the Philippine military was merchants in the United States Armed Forces. Many of us also volunteered for the U.S. Armed Services, me included. I served in the United States Coast Guard during the Vietnam conflict. The fourth wave of Filipino immigrants came in 1965. A very large number of Filipinos came to the U.S. after President Lyndon Johnson signed the immigration bill in 1965 that allowed for more immigration. Over the past 50 years, the share of immigrants from the Philippines has grown modestly from just over 1% in 1960 to more than 4% in 2020. Filipinos now represent the fourth largest immigrant group in the U.S. by country of origin behind Mexico, China, and India. As a group, immigrants from the Philippines are better educated, more likely to have strong English language skills, more likely to be naturalized dual citizens, and is likely to enter the United States as refugees or asylum seekers. Notable, of course, is the very presence of the number of Filipinos working within the city of Portland and the City Hall. They're doing a great job for you guys. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, Mayor Wheeler, Commissioner Matz, Commissioner Ryan. Today, on October 3rd, I'm deeply proud to represent the Filipino American Chamber of Commerce of Oregon, known as PACO. I'm here to celebrate with you all of the Filipino American heritage and our long history of living the Bayan spirit. A Filipino word that expresses how we approach living a spirit of communal unity and cooperation. In my own words, I translated it this way with one question: how can I be your hero today? In the spirit of communal unity and cooperation, we share our vision, mission, and unwavering commitment to building a more robust and inclusive economy for all through economic resiliency, sustainability, and global trade and commerce. As the President and Interim Executive Director of PACO, I'm humbled to lead this mission-driven economic business organization. PACO is more than just an acronym. It symbolizes hope, empowerment, and positive change in our diverse community. We are a collective of visionary business entrepreneurs, dedicated professionals, volunteers, and loyal supporters from both the public and private sectors. We face significant challenges in advancing our goals, particularly the activities related to upward wealth mobility. Our chamber operates with limited funding and staff, making it difficult to implement mission-aligned initiatives. However, we appreciate, particularly during the pandemic, that you, Mayor Wheeler, led a budget priority to support minority chambers to receive capacity building funds. Thank you for recognizing this challenge. Filipinos are humble and modest community who have assimilated into American society. While part of the largest Asian diaspora in the United States, Filipinos are often overlooked. But we encounter these challenges with our resiliency and Bayan spirit. We still ask ourselves, how can I be your hero today? Together we're shaping this destiny of small and medium-sized businesses and nurturing the dreams of budding entrepreneurs. Our impact is profound, and we invite all who share our vision to join us in making Portland a thriving, equitable economy. We do more than serve clients, we build bridges of understanding and opportunity. Each individual is not just a statistic, they are everyday heroes, restaurant owners, media publishers, accountants, doctors, nurses, grocery clerks, construction professionals, architects, engineers, a rising skilled workforce, and students who, with Paco's encouragement and leadership, are convinced that we can overcome obstacles and contribute to an inclusive economy. Celebrate with me by asking yourself, how can I be your hero today? Visit our Filipino restaurants, thank our workforce talent who work to be a hero every day, and support our minority chambers like Paco. In doing so, you too will be living the Bayanihan spirit and uplifting the Filipino American heritage, history, and resiliency and endurance. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. Thanks for being here.
Yes, Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, appreciate being here. This is quite a privilege to be here in this hallowed hall and with the people who lead the city. It's the way that you're doing. My name is Enrico Tadeo. I'm the honorary consul for the Philippines, and there's a Portland Post. It's officially declared that there's a Portland Post for the Philippines as a regular consulate. So I'm honored to send greetings and extend my greetings from the Philippines. Warm, well, it's always warm. Greetings from the Philippines will always be warm, maybe even hot sometimes, but send greetings from the 7,000 plus islands, from the 113 million people, from the government and the people of the Philippines, because there's a special relationship between the United States, between Americans and the Filipinos that has come, as Mr. Lim implied, it's been since even the 1500s or so, but the deep relationship probably started when the colonizers, when the Spanish colonizers left the Philippines in about 1898, and the United States Americans came in 1898. So none of us were born yet at that time, but at that time, the President of the United States actually declared it it's now a destiny. There's a term that he used, but anyway, he said this is manifest destiny. Manifest destiny that this should happen, that the Americans should be in the Philippines, and it did happen for the next half a century. Not everybody was necessarily happy with that, but as it turned out, the end of that half a century time frame, the Filipinos and Americans fought side by side in World War II, and that again deepened the relationship between the two countries. And even beyond that, after independence was actually given in 1945, even beyond that, I think the relationship continued to deepen because we continued to work side by side in many different ways, as explained by Ms. Mason here, that we work together for common objectives. We work together to build the economy. We work together to build a social milieu that actually we share as we live together, like we are in Portland right now. So I appreciate the fact of the recognition of the Filipinos, especially those who are in the United States right now, in the Portland area, that we are one in working together to make the place a better place to live. And this recognition, it really touches me, because we know that even though sometimes we think we're not being recognized, we are. And this recognition, this proclamation, tells us that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Good morning.
Good morning, Mayor Wheeler, Commissioner Ryan, and Commissioner Max. My name is Irene Appel, and I'm a proud member of the Filipino American community. Not only am I a member of the Filipino community, I'm also a board member of the Filipino American Chamber of Commerce of Oregon, or better known as PACO. And I'm also the Port of Portland's Small Business Technical Assistance Specialist. Professional titles aside, I'm a first-generation Filipino American. Both of my parents are immigrants. My mother is from the Philippines and my father is Dutch. How did a Filipino immigrant and a Dutch immigrant meet in Portland? Your guess is as good as mine. I grew up in Canby, Oregon. So my upbringing was like a very multicultural island surrounded by farmland. Regardless, everything led me to be here today, and I'm honored to have the opportunity to share my experience with you in light of this momentous occasion of proclaiming October 2023 as Filipino American History Month in Portland. Growing up in Canby, I made up half of one of like 6 Asian kids in my school, and I'm fairly certain none of the other 5.5 kids were Filipino. Being Filipino, I was definitely part of the cultural minority in Canby. The largest cultural population in Canby is the Latinx community, which stands at about 17% of the population today, with the API community coming in at just under 2%. So I grew up in my parents' nursery, growing up in a small business owned by immigrants. Let's just say my parents had a very healthy view on their kids being with a family business. Some might say healthy, others might say questionable, but all jokes aside, I had a front row seat to watch my parents navigate the endless obstacles that are unique to small business owners, people of color, and especially women of color. Growing up in a small and fairly conservative town, society taught me that I should hide my differences, like my Filipino heritage, and blend in as much as possible. It was only until I was able to move away from my hometown, a whole 35 minutes away to Portland, that I was able to begin to shape that mindset and be proud of my cultural heritage. The greater Filipino American community has since welcomed me with open arms, and when you're in and among the Filipino community, you know that they take community to a whole new level. I've gained at least 75 new aunties and uncles just being on the Papa board. The Filipino American community isn't just a community, we're truly a family. We're very accepting of, not only are we a family, we're very accepting of people from all different backgrounds. As long as you take a plate of food, eat it all, and leave with some leftovers, you're family too. Through this never-ending support from my family and my community, I now manage the Port of Portland's Small Business Technical Assistance Programs, where we provide comprehensive support services to small business owners, most of whom are also from communities of color, at no cost to them, in order to help them navigate the same issues that I watched my parents face growing up. I've also provided the amazing opportunity to serve on PACO's board of directors. I'm very blessed to be able to use my lived and professional experience to further the Port of Portland's mission of shared prosperity in our region and PACO's mission of building generational wealth to empower economic resiliency, affordable sustainability, and purpose-driven global commerce, especially for socially marginalized and economically disadvantaged communities. All of this, in short, I am truly proud to be Filipino American. Mabuhay.
We'll now hear from, Commissioner Max. You got your hand up first.
Sure, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to start off by thanking our panel for joining us today. And I also want to say this. Colleagues, I am delighted to join you in proclaiming October 2023 to be Filipino American History Month here in Portland, Oregon. Filipino Americans are an essential part of Portland's culture, economy, and history. And Filipino American History Month honors that legacy. Filipino American History Month is celebrated in October, as we've heard, to commemorate October 18th, 1587. That is the day when the first Filipinos arrived in North America at a place now known as Morro Bay, California. October 18th, 1587 is also a reminder that the history between the Philippines and these United States is long, complicated, occasionally tragic, and always triumphant. For example, the first permanent Filipino settlement in what we now think of as the United States was founded in 1763 in
Louisiana.
Parish, Louisiana. And in 1898, the United States purchased the Philippines from Spain for $20 million. Perhaps unsurprisingly, the very next year, 1899, the Filipino people launched an insurrection against their American landlords. That conflict is known as the Philippine-American War. That war lasted 3 years. Over 4,200 Americans died in that conflict. Over 20,000 Filipinos died in that conflict. And more than 200,000 Filipino civilians perished in that conflagration. Now, from 1898 to 1946, the Philippines existed essentially as a colony of the United States. Here in Oregon, the first large wave of Filipinos arrived in the early 1900s. This wave of Filipino immigrants largely consisted of two groups,
Students.
farm workers and students.
That's
For
right.
example, in the early 1900s, Filipino farm workers made their way to Oregon after working
Alaska.
on farms in California and in Washington, fish canneries in Alaska,
Correct,
and
fish
pineapple and
canneries.
sugar plantations in Hawaii. Now, around that same time, let's say 1903, the U.S. territorial government in the Philippines started sponsoring Filipino students to study in the United States, including here in Oregon. That program brought many
OSU and
Filipino
U of O.
students to the University of Oregon and to Oregon State University.
That is correct.
Today, more than 4.2 million Filipino Americans live in these United States, and 42,000 Filipino Americans live in the Portland metro area. Colleagues, there are many lessons to be learned from this history of Filipinos in America, but one of the most straightforward lessons is this. For more than 400 years, our Filipino friends, family, neighbors, and ancestors helped build the nation and city that we have inherited and loved. Which is why I encourage all Portlanders to join this council in celebrating Filipino American History Month. Thank you very much, and thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Commissioner Maps. Commissioner Ryan?
Yes, thanks, Mayor, and thank you, Commissioner Professor Maps, that was really eloquent. I just found your presentation to be so beautiful. The four of you covered so much ground, so much history, so thank you for taking the time to be here today. I was reflecting on the building of generational wealth that you mentioned, and how I always like to lift that anytime we tell the story, the real beautiful American story of all of our emerging economies always come from immigrants. And so we should always welcome immigration and build those economies, because that's what's made our country prosperous and unique and sticks out. One of the best things that's happened to my family is my fourth oldest brother married a Hawaiian Filipino. I think there's a lot of that, especially if they're from Hawaii.
Correct.
And when you said gained, all I thought about was how much weight I gained when I stayed with them for like over a few days. And every holidays when we co-host, and I always lean on her to help out with cooking, because it's just so much better than I just provide the food. So anyway, I'm hungry now, and it's early, but I just want to thank you all so much for being here. It was really a blessing. Thanks.
Thank you all. With that, I will read the proclamation. Whereas October 2023 is the 436th anniversary of the earliest documented proof of Filipino presence on the shores of the west coast of continental United States. And whereas the citizens of Oregon should be informed of the positive impact Filipino Americans have had on our communities. And whereas in Oregon, thousands of Filipino Americans have made contributions to the fields of teaching, business, government, agriculture, ministry, medicine, and other sciences, humanities, and of course the United States Armed Forces. And whereas it's imperative for Filipino American youth to have positive role models, instill in them the importance of education, complemented with the richness of their ethnicity and the values of their legacy. And whereas efforts must continue to promote the study of Filipino American history and culture, because the role of Filipino Americans and those of other people have been overlooked in the writing, teaching, and learning of United States history. And whereas this anniversary is a significant time to study the advancement of Filipino Americans, a time of celebration, remembrance, reflection, and motivation, and a relevant time for all of our citizens to learn and appreciate more about Filipino Americans and their historic contributions to our nation and to the state of Oregon. Now, therefore, I, Ted Wheeler, Mayor of the City of Portland, the City of Roses, do hereby proclaim October 2023 to be Filipino American History Month in Portland, and encourage all residents to join in recognition of the positive impact Filipino Americans have had on our community. Thank you all.